Upstairs to the Right Music channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to show up today. Take a minute, if you will, to take a look at this. Upstairs to the Right Music has released a new album with our in-house band Asanoki, titled Ants in the Pantry. Support this channel by going to bandcamp.com and buy your copy today. Okay, a Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. I hope that we have a very safe and prosperous 2024, all of us. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. I am going to go on an interesting topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that is something that I've been discovering as I've been going through the process of making parts casters, and that is the hidden cost of buying import parts. Now, as you know, locally here in the Netherlands, finding used parts is not very easy. As a matter of fact, it's quite difficult. There are used, Craigslist type places that you can go to, but they are quite unreliable and quite dangerous to use, quite frankly, in my opinion. The quality of the parts that you get when they do come, if they do show up, usually has some major issues to it. So what's a guy to do? As you know, I also stretched out to the Temu way of buying parts, and I bought a few, but I actually deleted their app off my phone. I'm not interested in supporting that kind of company. I am interested to share with you the pieces that I did get from them and what my thoughts on them are, so maybe that might be of an advantage to some of you who are still riding the fence about whether or not you want to order from them. I also have some parts that I ordered from eBay as well. Quite frankly, at the end of the day, all of the parts will do the job, but, and there's a lot of caveats to this one, they all are going to require you to have a little bit of luthier skill that you're going to need in order to finish it. And if you don't have those skills, out of the box, it's going to be next to useless for you. And that's the reality of it. That's true of a lot of the whole, all the parts being there, inexpensive electric guitars that you can buy from any one of the places that I just mentioned. They're all going to have issues, they're all going to have problems, and a lot of them are going to be junkers. There is no shortcuts when it comes to purchasing a guitar. Is going to be a bit of a spoiler here. I'll give it out there early. Yeah, they can be used, but it's going to require a little bit of work on your part that you may or may not be ready to do. Let's start with this neck. This is a roasted maple neck that I purchased from Temu. One of the things that I will say about this, to keep this really short, is in terms of quality, it is, as they advertise, it is a flame maple neck. However, there are some issues with it in terms of use that if you don't have luthier skills, you're going to have to send it down to a luthier, and that's going to cost you. Again, this is the hidden cost. If you can't do the work yourself, then it's going to cost you. So, for example, the machine head holes. These are all not the best in terms of their sizes. Bushing of 8mm fits in this bottom hole, but as you go up to these other holes, it does not fit. These are actually 10s. So that means that this is going to have to be reamed to be either the same as these here, or I'm going to have to buy converter bushings in order to make it work. Again, there's going to be a cost there. I do have the ability to ream these out myself. However, if you don't have that going for you, that's going to be an added cost. The nut on this guitar is actually not bad. I've seen a lot worse. However, it's a little bit of a bad cut here on the side. It's not exactly fit correctly. I'm going to have to see if it's slotted correctly. That could be an issue of intonation. So you have to be aware of that. Speaking of intonation, the distance between the 12th fret and the heel of this neck should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 7.5 inches. So when I measured this out, it actually came out to 7.77 inches on. So about a little bit bigger than it really should be. So that's going to require a little bit of shaving this down this heel down in order to get it so that it's just right, so that it's correct. If you don't have the skills in order to do that, then that may be an intonation problem as well. So yeah, did I get a bargain on this? Yes, I sure did. I got this for less than $50 US, and with a little bit of love, a little bit of work, it's going to be a great neck. But that's love and work that I can do. If you can't do that, and by the way, the frets on this, amazingly, I gave it a good fret rocker up and down. They're actually all level. So that's one great relief, because if you have uneven frets, you're going to expect even more when you take it down to your luthier if you can't do that work yourself. One more thing that I'd like to show you regarding these necks, and I was talking about measurements there a little bit, is also, will it fit into the neck pocket of the guitar that you're planning on using? This is a 2001 Squier Affinity body. It's an Alder body, so that's one of the reasons why I'm refurbishing it. I'm going to do a new paint job on it, and this is going to be the neck for it. But one thing that I'm noticing about this neck is that in terms of fitting in tightly, it does not. There's about 1, maybe 2 millimeters of a gap here. Now, some people will tell you that that's not a big thing. For sustain, you really do want to have this fit as tightly as possible in that neck pocket. There's things that you can do in order to get that to fit a little bit tighter. However, again, that's going to be something that is going to require extra work and a little bit of knowledge on your part, or you're going to have to take it down to a luthier. One of the interesting things I found is that when I wanted to buy a replacement actually for this tremolo system and block, I decided to go to eBay and, I'm sorry, in this case, this is a Temu again. I decided to order, again, a Temu part in order to replace it. I've long suspected that a lot of the Temu parts and a lot of the eBay parts themselves that you get from China are all basically based on Squier parts. And in this case, I can tell you that this is a 2001 Squier Strat Tremolo and Block. This is the one that I just recently got from Temu. If you put the Temu one on this 2001 Squier body, you'll see that it fits perfectly, actually. So sometimes you'll luck out. You'll get a part, in the case of some of these import parts, they'll slip right on, they'll fit perfectly. Sometimes the bridges don't, and that will lead to difficulties in terms of alignment, string alignment, intonation, all the things that come with that. So that's something that you should be aware of as well. Again, there's no standards when it comes to these parts. It just so happens that, in my opinion, a lot of these parts are modeled after Squier parts. So if you're putting together a Squier parts caster, you're probably pretty much well in luck. However, I will say that if you look at this 2001 Squier block and you look at this replacement block, you can see that they are quite different. There's a lot of heft to this 2001 part, and these were criticized as being cheap. So imagine what the thoughts would be on this replacement part. Will it do the job? Absolutely, absolutely. Does it do it as well as the part it's replacing? In this case, maybe not. I have to say that the alloys and the metals that they use, like this is again recycled Pepsi cans in my opinion, quality of metal. Whereas this has a lot more going for it. You can tell that the quality of the alloys used was a lot better 22 years ago when they made this as opposed to this one here. Both made in China, but you can see in those 20 some odd years how it's just gotten down, a race to the least possible, cheapest materials. It's a race to the bottom of the cheapest materials possible in order to build these. So this actually is a replacement part that works, it fits, but I actually may just go ahead and use the old part because quite frankly this is inferior in terms of the materials. So again, that's something to consider. You get what you pay for also when it comes to these import parts. So again guys, just a few thoughts on some of the stuff that I've got. The tuner heads came from eBay. So these are eBay tuner heads. They were supposed to be able to fit a 10 millimeter shaft. They do not. They are actually 8 millimeters. So again, I'm going to have to use conversion bushings. So the information on these tuners, they're good quality. They're not cheap, but they're just not as advertised. And that's also a third and final thing that I will say to you. Check the reviews. Take a look down and see what people are saying about not just the parts themselves, but the company that they're buying from, and if they have a good track record or not. That's really all that you can do when you're buying these import parts. It's really hit or miss. And if you can afford to do that, that's okay. If not, I would actually recommend that you spend a little bit more money and buy good quality replacement parts if you're doing something like that for whatever project you're working on. Yeah, you're going to spend a little bit more money, but at the end of the day, you're going to end up probably a lot happier in terms of those hidden costs. They're not going to be there. They should all fit and slide right in, no problems, and you can do the work yourself. If not, you better be a luthier. Just as a bonus, here's a fully loaded pick guard that I bought that I will be using for this project. I would like to say that when it comes to ceramic magnets, there is a big difference in quality. I don't know, I haven't plugged this in yet, but I'm willing to guess that these are probably not going to be the best sounding pickups out of this. Eventually there's going to be a cost there, a hidden cost of having to replace these, or they may be fantastic. Ceramic magnets are really hit or miss. And sometimes they can really give you that good stratty, old-fashioned sound that you're really looking for. Sometimes it's really no-go, it's no bueno. So it's hit and miss when it comes to these as well. They can be had for 20, 30 bucks. But really think about the quality of the wiring. In this case, it's not the cheapest wiring I've seen, it's not the best. You may want to think about replacing the pots as well. There's a lot of things that you may want to consider before buying one of these, because again, the hidden costs, you might as well buy yourself a fender replacement pick guard fully loaded and just save yourself a lot of heartache. But if you know what you're doing and you have a little bit of soldering skill, you can take something like this, and with a few parts laying around, you can turn it into something great, as you shall see when I put this project together, how this turns out. So again, at the end of the day, guys, it really is up to you in terms of your skill whether or not you want to deal with the hidden costs that are going to be involved in buying these import parts. Now, again, my real recommendation to you is you go to All Parts, you go to StudioMac, you go to any of the usual suspects that have really good quality parts, and just spend that little bit extra coin so that you don't have to deal with the hidden costs that are going to come up, like in this case having to buy replacement bushings or conversion bushings. These are things that I don't want to do, that I didn't want to do, especially when I have a pack of bushings sitting here. Again, it'll just go into the parts basket. But that is something that I don't want to do. So that's something that makes me say, hey, you know, maybe I should have just spent a little bit more and bought some better quality replacement tuners. So in this case, I think it was the tuners that ended up being the biggest disappointment for me. However, because I can do luthier work, the other issues with the other pieces that I bought from Temu and eBay, they can be repaired by me at a very low cost. It's the cost of doing the time of doing it. For you, that may not be an attractive option. That may not be something that you want to do. So this is something that you should take into consideration when you're thinking about buying replacement parts, these import parts to work on your projects going forward. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you haven't done so far, please hit the subscription button. I'd love to have you join this community that's growing all the time. We have a goal of getting to 5,000 subscribers this year. I think that we can do it with a little help from my friends. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. That helps with the YouTube algorithm. And until the next one, you guys take care. Bye-bye.